uh, discussion. Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining for today's discussion on eliminating anarthas, a 5 day series. Today is day 2, killing Aghasura. Aghasura is a demon who represents enviousness. So let us start with the prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for joining. Yesterday we were discussing on killing Putana, overcoming duplicity. This is a series, 5 day series of eliminating anarthas. Anarthas means impurities in our heart. So let us go for the agenda. Today we are going to discuss on Aghasura's pastime, how Krishna killed Aghasura, and how that demon represents enviousness, and what causes people to be envy. Of course, we all are having a percentage of enviousness towards others, and what is its impact on society and how to overcome that enviousness. Let us start with a recap, a brief on what we discussed yesterday. Yesterday we discussed about killing Putana, how Krishna sucked the live air itself from Putana. In the beginning of the discussion, we understood why we have to hear Krishna stories. They are not just bedtime stories for children, not just for entertainment, but also for the enlightenment of human purpose. And also we have seen suras, asuras, divine and demoniac people. There are good people and bad people in society. And this bad, everyone has this percentage of good and bad. And this bad percentage in a person is identified as anartha. So in the pastimes of Krishna, Krishna killing asuras, asuras means demons, this asuras symbolizes anarthas within us. So we have to understand which asura represents an anartha and identify how to resolve that and invite Krishna within our heart. He will clean all the anarthas. He will remove all the demons within us. That is the purpose of hearing. Okay. So how to overcome duplicity? We have seen the problems. What are the causes of being duplicit, being fake towards others? And what is the solution from Bhagavad Gita? These are the 4 problems: addictions, purva samskaras, materialism, imitation. Because of a lot of social media addictions and a lot of other addictions, people are blinded and they are so much fake. I want to become that, I want to become this, and oh, this person is like this, let me also make myself like this so that I'll become happy. So all these are a kind of activities that we do without knowledge. The solution what Bhagavad Gita gives is that blinded gets addicted, illumined gets liberated. One who identifies the real knowledge, one who gets the knowledge from Bhagavad Gita and other literature, Vedic literatures, one understands the problem that at least we are in problem. So let us try to find a solution. So after that, he'll be illumined and then he'll be liberated. Otherwise, we get bounded and blinded by ignorance and get addicted and get lost. And we think that being fake is okay. And the second problem is samskaras, purva samskaras. Okay, we have done something bad in our past life that is causing us to behave wrongly. Maybe in childhood we are not taken care properly, or parents did not taught us how to be good, so that we are having some bad qualities within us. Then what do we do? Do we just blame karma? No. What Bhagavad Gita says is we have to follow the footsteps of liberated noble souls. Many great saints had followed this Bhagavad Gita wisdom and got liberated. These lessons that we have to learn, and we have to follow the footsteps of noble souls. It is not that we have to just blame on the karma that we have done, but we have to focus on the dharma that is present ahead of us by following liberated noble souls, so that we can get guided, not get stuck up with the past fake things. And the third one is materialism. People nowadays think that, okay, if I get this, I'll be happy. If I get that, I'll be happy. All this kind of wrong definitions of happiness. If you get big house, nice wife or nice husband, big large number of cars, and you'll be very rich, world trip and everything. This is what people think as happiness. But this is all materialism, which means the more and the more you get, the more and the more you want. What is the solution? Because of that, people try to fake up. But what is the solution? Krishna says happiness is found not in collecting and consuming, but in connecting and contributing. By connecting with Krishna and contributing something to the society, that is what real happiness is. It is not in getting something getting something you will become happy. It is in giving something that you become happy. That is what is taught in our scriptures. The third and the fourth one is imitation. We have a lot of movies, Netflix, and a lot of video streaming things. People get addicted to fan following, and people have a lot of models, film stars. They want to become like that. Okay, this person is very happy, let me become like that. People try to imitate others, try to become, okay, he became happy, he became successful, let me also copy that. But what Krishna says is that if God had wanted you to be someone else, he would have made someone else. Right? If you want to be someone else, what is the existence of yourself, own self? There is no need of being two people, same kind, right? Krishna says, don't copy, don't do others' dharma. Do your duty in a proper way. What is your varna? Perform your activities according to that. Don't try to copy others. Don't try to imitate. This will not give happiness. These are the 4 lessons we have learned in overcoming duplicity. We all have that. It is not that we need to teach others. First, we need to resolve it ourselves. We need to find out what is the problem, and we need to resolve it using the solution present in Gita. Hare Krishna. So today we are discussing on day 2, killing Aghasura. Yesterday, day 1, killing Putana, duplicity is done. Let us go ahead. We have Prabhuji with us. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Okay. I welcome all of you back with us for day 2. We are discussing on the next demon Krishna killed. His name is Aghasura. So Krishna killed many demons. We are analyzing each and every demon and what represents anartha in our heart. That's how we can go ahead. I hope you are all able to see the screen which I am sharing.
Yes, Prabhu.
Prashant Prabhu, can you confirm?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes.
My voice is audible to everyone clearly?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes. So, as the agenda goes for today, Prashant Prabhu, he covered the recaps for day one. I wish you once again happy Krishna Janmashtami, which is upcoming. We are preparing our consciousness to invite Krishna in our heart. But just like when a guest comes to our house, we doesn't give a dirty place for him to sit. Just like that, we are cleaning our heart so that Krishna can occupy the place. So in this way, we are preparing our consciousness to invite Krishna in our heart. That's how we are discussing Krishna Katha, the pastimes of Krishna, and how he killed many demons. Each demon represents some anartha in our heart. This anartha means unnecessary habit, unnecessary quality in our life. That we should give it up. So yesterday we were discussing very nicely about the duplicitous nature, which everybody has in our life. Root causes of this quality and how to overcome this quality. Yesterday we analyzed and discussed about the duplicitous nature of the people. Now today we are discussing about another demon whose name is named as Aghasura. Aghasura story. And we will discuss why people are envious and how it impacts in society, how to overcome this quality which is enviousness. Let's go ahead. Hare Krishna. Okay. Day 2, Aghasura. A short video, let's see, and then we'll go ahead for the points more. So I'm playing the video. Should I play the video, Prashant, or will you play that?
I'll play it, Prabhu.
Yeah, please play it. Please watch carefully the story because there is so much to learn from this story. It is not only entertainment but enlightenment also, just like yesterday we were discussing. Please, let's go for the story. The killing of Aghasura demon.
Once the Lord desired to go early in the morning with all his cowherd boyfriends to the forest. He blew a buffalo horn and called all his friends together. Keeping the calves before them, they started for the forest. While passing through the forest, one boy stole another boy's lunch package and passed it to a third. And when the boy whose lunch package was stolen came to know of it, he tried to take it back. But one threw it to another boy. The boys behind him tried to run to catch up and be the first to touch him. One would say, "I will go there and touch Krishna." And another would say, "Oh, you cannot go. I'll touch Krishna first." While the birds were flying in the sky, the boys ran after the birds' shadows along the ground and tried to follow their exact courses. Some of the boys played with the frogs on the bank of the Yamuna, and when, out of fear, the frogs jumped in the water, the boys immediately dove in after them. One may search for Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, through the pages of the Vedas and Upanishads. But if one is fortunate enough to associate with a devotee, he can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face. After accumulating pious activities in many previous lives, cowherd boys were seeing Krishna face to face and playing with him as friends. When Lord Krishna was enjoying his childhood pastimes, one Aghasura demon appeared before the boys, intending to kill them all. Aghasura happened to be the younger brother of Putana and Bakasura, and he thought, "Krishna has killed my brother and sister. Now I shall kill him, along with all his friends and calves." The demon, in the shape of a big fat serpent, expanded his lips from land to sky. His jaws appeared like a big mountain cave, and his teeth appeared just like mountain summits. The fire of his eyes was blazing. The boys began to talk among themselves. This figure appears to be a great animal, and he is sitting in such a posture just to swallow us all. Just see, is it not a big snake that has widened his mouth to eat all of us? If we all at one time entered into the mouth of this great serpent, how could it possibly swallow all of us? And it could not swallow Krishna. Krishna will immediately kill him.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare. Yes. Agasura means it's a snake demon. Snake demon. How snakes demons? Yes.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Audio is stuck in Prabhu.
And this snake is not ordinary snake what we see generally in the geographic channel. No, it's not that. The snake. Yes, Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Is it voice audible?
Yes, Prabhu, now it is clear.
Is the voice audible?
Okay, let's give a minute, Prabhu.
I hope voice is clear now.
It is clear.
Yeah. Yes, Agasura means it's a snake demon. This snake is not ordinary snake what we see in the geographical channel, in the TV. You must have seen real snakes too. But this snake is really, really big. It's 8 miles. See, it is 8 miles in length. The Putana demon, when it fell down, the length of the demon was 12 miles. 1 mile equal to how many kilometers? Anybody knows? 1 mile
1.6
equal,
kilometers.
how many?
1.6 kilometers.
1 mile is equal to 1.6 kilometers. Just imagine 1 kilometer even. So Putana, when it fell down, the length of the Putana's body spread around 12 miles. The Aghasura demon is around 8 miles. So this is a snake demon. Especially it is said in the night times you should not discuss about the snakes. Yes, it is surprising maybe for all of you. In the night times one should not discuss, one should not speak about 3 things. One is woman. Second thing is snake. And the third thing is lawyer. Maybe you may be hearing for the first time, but it is a Chanakya Pandit, Niti Shastra says this. One should not contemplate too much about the women, girls, and the lawyer and the snakes at the night time. It may sound like illogical for all of you, but it is said if you think about that too much, it will come in the dreams to you at the night. But here we are not discussing about the snake, but we are discussing about the anartha, which represents this demon. And we heard how the friends and Krishna, they were playing and enjoying the sports in the Vrindavan Dham. At that time, the snake demon opened its mouth and kept in between the bushes. And all the coward boys, they thought it is just like, oh, big cave, let me enter into it. So they started entering into it. One friend among all the friends said, hey, no, it sounds something suspicious. It's not a cave, something, the bad smell is coming from this cave. There may be something wrong. One friend said, but other friends, they said, no, why to fear? Krishna is there with us. If any problems comes, Krishna is there with us. What is the fear? So with that great confidence, all the coward boys, they entered into the mouth of Aghasura. The lesson for us to learn here is, if you depend on Krishna, you can face any kind of problem in the life. Just Krishna is there on our side. You see, Arjuna, Pandavas just are 5 members. The Kauravas are 100 members. But Arjuna and the Pandavas, they became ready to fight because Krishna is there on their side. They are quite confident. Similarly, in our life, when we take side of Krishna, when Krishna is there on our side, we can face any kind of challenge in the life. We should be confident on Krishna's mercy. Because the power of the problem is nothing in front of the power of Krishna. The power of the capacity of the problem which you are facing in our life is nothing in front of the power and magnanimity of Krishna. Yes. Let's go and see what is this Aghasura represents. This Aghasura represents enviousness in all of us. Everybody is envious. Yes. Anybody here who is not envious? Yes. Is there anybody here who is not envious? No response. So everyone is envious. Even I am also envious. But let us discuss what is the true envious and what is the root cause of this enviousness, and how to overcome this enviousness. Yes. So its impact in society, and then we will see how to overcome this character of quality of enviousness. I hope you are able to see the picture which I am showing here.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, there are 2 friends, Nitesh and Mitesh. Nitesh and Mitesh, there are 2 friends. They studied together. They got graduated from together. They got a placements in the same company. They both got a placements in the same company. They both are friends from the college days onwards. They are very good friends to each other. They are very happy to get a placements in the same company. Nitesh is working so expertly, so nicely. He pleased his boss, and boss promoted. He gave a promotion to Nitesh within 2 years of his work. But Mitesh, he is looking at Nitesh. He got a promotion, and Nitesh felt, really, we studied together, we enjoyed together, we went for movies together, we graduated together, we got placements together in the same company. But how come my friend Nitesh got a promotion? I didn't got. So he wrote a resignation letter. He went to the boss and said, boss, I'm just giving up. This is my resignation. The boss felt little bad for this. He asked Mitesh, why you want to resign? Then Mitesh explains that Nitesh is my friend. Nitesh, he always studied together. We always studied together. We enjoyed together. We got graduated together. We got placements together each other. But he got a promotion. You gave him a promotion. You didn't give me. So the Mitesh, he felt it is a time to resignation. He kept resignation letter in front of the boss. Then boss explained the Mitesh, no, you should not feel like that. You should not have a bad comparison. You should have a good comparison. You should not have envious of your friend. No. Be cool. You just sit in beside bed. I will call the Mitesh right now. And you just observe what he will do. So the Mitesh, M for Mumbai. Mitesh, he just sat beside the chair, and boss calls the Nitesh, N for Nagpur. Okay, so he calls Nitesh, and he says, the boss says, so we want to start a business called watermelon business. We want to sell watermelons. So boss sends Nitesh to go out and find out the cost and the details of the watermelon. Yes. So before that only, actually, boss asks Mitesh to find out the same thing. Mitesh goes out and sees, and he finds out there is one shop at the corner of the street with the watermelon. He has good stuff, good watermelon he has. He comes and says to the boss. So boss says, let us call Nitesh, how he does this. So boss called the Nitesh and he asked same thing. So we want to start a watermelon business, go and find out things. So Nitesh went and found out all the required details, and he came to the boss and said, okay, this is where at the lot street we have one watermelon shop. He has this many watermelons. He can provide us for a month, and this is how he charges for each watermelon. He can reduce the rate also. All the details Nitesh presents to boss. Boss gets shocked. Boss gets pleased with the Nitesh again. And Nitesh understands, okay, I should not do a bad comparison. I should not be envious of my friend. Instead of being envious of friend, I should learn something, my friend. So enviousness is actually very, very dangerous things in our life. If somebody is progressing in front of us, we feel, hey, why he's progressing? Why not me? Why I didn't got the promotion? Why I didn't got the good rank, good marks? Why he has a good girlfriend? Why I don't have good girlfriends? Why he has beautiful car? I don't have any car. So it's a bad comparison. Because of bad comparison, we end up in the envious nature. We envy people around us. We envy even the parents sometimes. Even we envy the colleagues. We envy everyone in the world. Yes, this is because of bad comparison. So let us see what are the root causes for this enviousness. One thing is comparison. people have completely, they think that definition of success means I should get what my friend got. So my friend got iPhone, I also should get iPhone. That is a success. My neighbor got a car, Mercedes Benz he got, I also should get Mercedes Benz. That is the definition of success nowadays. So we have a very, very bad habit of comparing. You know, our childhood onwards, our parents said, see, beside house, that Raju, he studies very well. You also should learn from him. That's where we understood, what is this? What is happening? So we define the success based on other success. That is completely wrong. We define the success of our life based on others' success. It's a completely wrong. So this is the root cause of the having a quality of enviousness. This is the root cause. Bad comparison. When we compare, we should compare with the people. We should not do a bad comparison. Instead of bad comparison, we should do a good comparison. We should take inspiration from him. Just like Mitesh, instead of, he learned a lesson, just like Mitesh learned a lesson that, yeah, Nitesh is very expert in business. He's very expert in dealings. So he can do one task in multiple dimensions. He can do multiple activities very wonderfully. I should learn from him. So we should have a good comparison, not bad comparison. We should have a healthy competition, not just kill each other, scratch each other competition in the world. Nowadays, we have many institutions, coaching institutions, schools, colleges. They promote their rankers so much. They say that we are the toppers. Our college is best. You join our college. People say we are the successful people. But unfortunately, the people who are ignorant, they get attracted to this and they define the success definition based on other people. So it's a very root cause of this problem is enviousness, is a comparison. The two bad comparisons. And the second thing is overuse of social media. Again, coming back to the same point yesterday what we were discussing. Social media, people in the Facebook, they have thousands and thousands of friends, but hardly they know them. In my Facebook, I have around 700, 800 friends. I know out of all of them, I know very few people. Now I'm thinking who is there in online classes. I don't know who are there. I don't know who are there. So the point is, we should know each other. In fact, having so many followers, so many likes in the social media is recently one Mataji, she called me and she says, why don't you like my photos? Why don't you like my updates, my Facebook? I'm uploading very nice pictures. I'm uploading nice, wonderful. No, I'm okay. I appreciate you personally. some appreciation, you know. Everybody expects some appreciation. But that appreciation
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So as I was mentioning the story, so she asked me to like the our photos or pictures, all that. But I could not do that. I said I'm doing personally directly. Why you want to me to subscribe or do it online? Anyway, but that is completely secondary, not the primary. So why don't you appreciate directly instead of on social media? Okay, you want to do something on social media, you can do it, no problem. We are not asking you to not to do that. You can do it. Of course, afterwards I like and share it, no problem. Whatever the good post. The point is, we should do direct appreciation. That will be more impact. That will give more impact. So I hope Prashant bro, you are sharing the screen.
Yes, bro.
Yeah. So overuse of social media that fuels envy, the bad comparison, anxiety and depression. You see, the people, they will do anything and everything. Whatever they are doing, they will upload on social media. They love it. They love it. And we also want to see what they are doing. That is good, no problem. But having a personal relationship is a more good than just social media relationships. Now, whoever joined in the meeting today, I know every one of you personally. I know every one of you personally. Whether you don't know me, that is another thing. But I know personally every one of you, because through some context, I met you personally. Some of you, I may not met you personally, but definitely I can say that you have taken up some things seriously in your life to hear such wonderful concepts of Krishna consciousness. I'm very thankful to all of you. So personally, personal relationships gives direct appreciation. If we get into more into social media, our relationships also becomes in a social distance. Be there, I'm here, we respect each other, no interaction. No interaction. So this is the overuse of social media is actually causing many people getting into anxiety, depression, all that. That's how people are developing this enviousness. They indirectly appreciate. They keep, somebody got many things like that. Indirect appreciation is not so good. Directly appreciate it. One time I have one good experience. One time I was hearing a FM radio. In that FM radio, there was one farm, organic farm. One person was cultivating organic farm. He was introducing other farmers also to cultivate the organic farm. I liked the session, whole program. I liked it very nicely. Then he was giving a contact number. I noted the contact number. I called him. I appreciate him. Wow, nice thing you are doing. I appreciated him personally on phone, like whatever the maximum I could do. So as you do a personal relationship, definitely come down from the enviousness. So this is how we should overcome from enviousness. Yes. The point to be noted. Yes. So the comparison. We should not compare. One should not compare based on other success. Now, in the Ramayana, where a wonderful story comes up, Hanuman, he's picking up big pahads, mountains, and he's making a way for Lord Ramachandra, the Setu Bandhan. Squirrel, it is also trying at its level. You just imagine if squirrel thinks, oh, throwing big stones is also big service, only that is only big service, then squirrel wouldn't have done any service. So squirrel at its level, it was taking up small, sand particles. So we should not get into unnecessary bad comparison. So Hanuman was throwing big stones, and the squirrel was coming in between. Then Hanuman got angry and said, "Why, you squirrel? Why you are coming in between? Go away!" Then squirrel went and complained to Lord Ram, and Lord Ram called Hanuman. And he called Hanuman and he explained the thing. Why you are doing such a thing? So Hanuman got a lesson. So anybody who can do a service at its level, that will be appreciated by Lord Ram. So in our life, we should understand, we should not go with others people's definition of success. So we should have a comparison, but not a bad comparison. The good comparison is something which should inspire us. For example, your colleague is there, is working very nicely, or else your classmate is there who's studying nicely. You should take good inspiration from him, not feel envy because he is doing nicely. I'm not able to do nicely. No, you can take inspiration from him, not to end up in bad comparison. Yes. So here is a nice quote. Can somebody read this out? Can somebody read this out? The quote which we are showing there with the Hanuman.
Happiness does not come by focusing on what we have, rather from what we do with what we have.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. So Hanuman, he was comparing, hey, I'm throwing big stones. So everybody should throw big stones. Why this squirrel is coming in between and throwing small particles of sand? That's completely wrong. Hanuman was thinking in that. But the squirrel taking a good comparison. It was a good comparison. It was taking an inspiration from these monkeys. The squirrel taken a great inspiration from all these monkeys. Every monkey is doing great service to Lord Ramachandra. I also should do something. So monkey did the second part of this line. What we do with what we have. So what strength, how much capacity, how much strength a squirrel has, with that much strength, with that much capacity, it could pick up the small sand particles. So in our life, how to avoid this enviousness? Know your limits. You know your limits. What are our limits? What I can do best, what I have. What I can do best with what I have. I have a skill of writing, so I will excel in that. Why somebody is singing, why I need to go there? So he is singing, he's not I can present it like that. Success definition, one should not go with the definition of success from others' success. So we should know what we are, and we should use things what we have in the best way instead of focusing on others' thing. Yes. Hare Krishna. So happiness does not come by focusing on what we have. For example, Hanuman, he was comparing that everybody should throw big stones. No, it doesn't work like that. Somebody, maybe squirrel, just can do sand particles. Yes. So let's see what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita regarding this comparison. How to overcome the enviousness which came out of the comparison. So we should connect with Krishna. Everybody is doing something in their life, that is all because of Krishna's energy. Because Krishna empowered him in that way, that's why he is doing it. Somebody became a good singer because Krishna, he empowered him in that way to sing nicely. Somebody is nicely dancing, it is Krishna who empowered him to dance nicely. So we should see Krishna's hand, we should connect with Krishna. Instead of just trying to try on let me do that. So snakes, the Aghasura, the demon, this represents the enviousness. We see snakes are always enviousness. Even though the person who has not done anything to the snake, but still snake is ready to bite him. Even though people give nice milk to the snake, but snake is still ready. It's ready to even to bite the person who gave the milk. Yes. So we should see in practical ground, we compare unnecessarily with many people, with many things. So better to stop, to overcome this envy, we should do good comparison and inspire from other people instead of just competing with him. So envying is degrading, admiring is elevating. You appreciate him, you take inspiration from him instead of envying him. So that's how we elevate in our life. So if we envy others, we degrade. We also try imitating him, and we also lose our qualities, and we don't use what we have rightly. We misuse what we have, basically. So envying is degrading, admiring is elevating. Can somebody read the translation of the shloka 10.41? Hare Krishna. Yes, can somebody read this?
Hare Krishna,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Yes, please. Hare Krishna. Yes, Shriya, please read.
Okay, Prabhuji. Envy is degrading, admiring is elevating. Know that all opulent, beautiful, and glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor.
Yes. So Krishna, yes, invested all his energies in many varieties in this world. Yes, Krishna is somebody is empowered. Everybody is actually empowered by Krishna. Without Krishna's permission, even grass cannot move. The blade of grass cannot move. Because Krishna's okay, Hare Krishna. It is because of Krishna's empowerment only.
Prabhuji, your voice is breaking.
But they are ignoring Krishna. They are saying that no. Yes, bro. You can connect through phone. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. So unfortunately, people, they got success in their life. Whatever the method of success they get, they got some things, they got some gold medal, they got some prize money, they got some good fame, name, some opportunities to excel their skills. But unfortunately, they are not recognizing Krishna there. They are thinking that no, because of my hard work, because of me only, I was successful. That is another problem actually. Because they have envious towards Krishna. They have envious towards Krishna. They don't want to give a credit to Krishna. They don't want to give a credit to Krishna. They just want to give all the credit, keep all the credit to themselves only. So there also it's envy. I'm describing envy in two levels. Envy with Krishna leads to self-pride. I'm so great. That point we will discuss with another demon again, another day. Envy with others comes because we don't see the connection of Krishna. So you appreciate them and appreciate Krishna. You see that great quality in people is because of Krishna. Krishna says, Rasoham Apsukante. Krishna says, I am the taste of water. Balam Balavatam Chaham. I am the strength of the people. I am the prowess of the people. Krishna says, I give the intelligence, I give the knowledge to people. So somebody got a good marks in their exams. It means that Krishna favored him in one way. Krishna favored him in one way that they remember the knowledge which they studied. Yes. So in that way, we should understand these things that Krishna empowerment, actually somebody becomes great. Whatever the definition of success. We should see Krishna's hand in everything. Then we will not be envious of people. Instead of envious, we admire. We take inspiration from that personality and we give the credit to Krishna. Yes. So let's go for the next. So another thing we saw, the comparison. Krishna says to be happy. We saw this story of squirrel and Hanuman. To be happy is possible, to be happier than to others is impossible. So we should learn a lesson of self-satisfaction. We should learn a lesson of self-satisfaction. Whatever we have, we should be satisfied with that. So Krishna, when he appears as Lord Vamanadeva, he teaches very wonderful lesson to Bali Maharaj. Vamanadeva, he asks for 3 steps of land. Yes, everybody knows this. Lord Vamanadeva, he asks for 3 steps of land. Bali says, what is this? What you are asking? You are asking for just 3 steps of land? Ijjat ke sawal. I am ready to give you whole kingdom. But you are asking just for the 3 steps of land? What is this? You ask me something more. I am very powerful. I can give everything. I can give so many things to you. You want beautiful wife? I can give. Kingdom? I can give. You want gold? I can give. But why you are asking just 3 steps of land? It is an insult for me. Bali Maharaj says, it is an insult for me. Ask something more. That time, Vamanadeva says very wonderful lesson. Vamanadeva says, if somebody is not satisfied with just 3 steps of land, he cannot be satisfied with no matter whatever you give. Yes. So if we are not satisfied what we have, we will never be satisfied whatever we get in the life. I'm repeating the point once again. We will not be happy if we are not happy what we have. We can never be happy whatever we get in the life. So we should learn this art of self-satisfaction. Whatever we have, we should be happy. We don't need to compare with others. Oh, what he has, what I have. For example, when 2 Matajis, when 2 girls, any 2 housewives, when they meet in parties, what they discuss? Mostly, anybody knows? I don't know, Matajis may tell this. One Mataji met another Mataji, means one housewife met another housewife in some function, some birthday party or marriage ceremony. What they discuss mostly? They have so many things to discuss, but prominently what they discuss? Shriya, Bhavika, what they discuss, anybody? I will tell you.
About family, not
About
their family and all.
yeah, okay. I'm telling you facts are, I don't know whether you accept me or not, but it is a very fact. Okay, Srinivas Prabhu says silently, it's just ornaments. So what kind of gold chain you have? See how I'm wearing, my husband gave me this last time, he gave me this saree. See this saree, how it is. That another mother says, another auntie or whatever mother says. No, more than this saree is looking little dull, I have more nice saree. Oh, this ornament is not looking nice. My husband gave me last time in my birthday another good ornament. So basically, every husband, he feels afraid, openly telling this for all of your information. Maybe afterwards you can cross check whether it's true or not. So every husband, he feels afraid to take wife to any party. Why? Because they discuss so many things to housewives. They discuss so many things. When they come back home, they feel so morose. Hare, she has good saree, she has good ornaments. I'm so poor, I'm not having all that. So the husband, he takes all the troubles, the house. I don't know, you accept it or not, but this is a fact. Most of the business accept, this is what discussions happens. So people, they start comparing with others. It's just simply they just compare with others. So the point is, we should be happy what we have. To be happy is possible, you can be happy what we have, with what we have. But if you are not happy with what you have, you can never be happy whatever you get in the life. Don't compare with others. To be happier than others is impossible. Don't try that. Yes. Can somebody read the translation of this 17th chapter 16 shloka down quickly? Quickly, no time. Please read the translation of the down shloka.
In satisfaction, simplicity, gravity, self-control, and purification of one's existence are the austerities of the mind.
Yes. So we just live a life with a simple, don't have a higher and higher expectations in the life. Don't compare with others. Satisfaction, just be satisfied what you have. Now some people may say, Prabhuji, what Prabhuji? If you are satisfied what you have, how will you upgrade in the life? How you will upgrade in the life? No, I'm not saying in that way. Instead of comparing with others, take a good comparison. Don't take a bad comparison, become envious. Take a good comparison, feel inspired by you, get admired. Now connect, see the Krishna's hand in that, as we discussed in the first part. Yes. So yeah, next slide. Okay, Hare Krishna. So in summary, whatever we discussed, I'll just in brief, in one point, I'll just present it to all of you. Please hear carefully. So we discussed. Yes. Okay. Hare Krishna. So the Aghasura demon, Krishna killed. Actually, when the all friends entered into the Aghasura mouth, Krishna also entered at the land at the end, and he saw his friends fell unconscious in the stomach of the Aghasura. He just kicked with his one simple fist. With one fist, he just kicked up, and the Aghasura fell down and died. All the friends came out. They lived as usually happily with Krishna. So this Aghasura, any snake, in fact, any snake is a anartha, which represents is enviousness. Snakes are fully envious. Fully envious. They will kill even those people who give the milk. Yes. So this Aghasura represents the envious nature. How it impacts in society. We will discuss one story of Mitesh and Mitesh. How they were comparing themselves in a bad comparison, and Mitesh wanted to resign. But the boss made it clear to the Mitesh that instead of taking a bad comparison, we should take a good comparison and feel inspired by it. So don't go with the others' definition of success. Don't stop comparing with others. And because of overuse of social media, people are becoming so envious, comparison, bad comparison. They become anxiety, depression. So instead of direct appreciation, indirect appreciation, just keep directly in touch with them. Appreciate them, learn from them. So how we can resolve these things in the purview of Bhagavad Gita is overcoming envy. So, we discuss this. Don't go with others' definition. happiness does not come by focusing on what we have, rather from what we do with what we have. So we should understand our limits and excel. Perfectly do that task very nicely. That itself is a very great thing. No need to compare with others. And we cannot define the success of definition, the definition of success with other success. Yes. Just like Hanuman mistook squirrel. And Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita 10th chapter 41 sloka, if you envy with others, it degrades you. If you have envy, you will only degrade in your life. So that's why we should see the connection of Krishna. Because of Krishna only somebody becomes great. So admiring, instead of envying, we should admire others. That's how we get elevated. And second thing we learned, instead of comparing, we should feel self-satisfaction, whatever we have. Yes, whatever we have, we should try to learn this lesson, self-satisfaction. Just like I was explaining, Vamandev instructions to Bali Maharaj. Just give me 3 steps of land, I will be happy. No need of thousands and thousands of things. Yes, if we are satisfied, if we are not satisfied what we have, we are not satisfied what we have, we will never be satisfied whatever we get in the life. Yes. Thank you all very much. We'll continue again tomorrow with another demon and with another character. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.